So I know we've been planning on going to Charleston. I think we need to add a stop and we need to go to Itchy Grass Farm. Invited or not. I think we can sneak on there. Nobody would know.
I get the vibe from Whitner and his family that if we just reached out and sent him a DM, he would invite us and we would have we might have to sleep in a tent like Craig,
That's
but we
fine.
would definitely get on that farm.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a...
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody. For whoever wants to listen, I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by Itchy Ass Magoots. What's up, dude?
I don't want to respond to that.
It's too
Kind of
easy.
gives credence to the nickname if I say anything. So I'm just gonna stammer for a little bit. And oh, hey, Steele, how are you, buddy? Let's do this
Hey.
podcast. This is, I think, a very fun season of Southern Charm. I know that there's a
agree.
lot going on, and yes, we are still talking about a lot of the same stuff. This episode was a little bit better in that regard because we weren't just focused on Austen and Craig. But I do feel like when the cameras like kind of close in and you got one kind of lingering around, and we see that in the first night that they're here, they're having fun together. Like at the bare minimum, they are avoiding all of the weird bullshit that's going on camera, and they're able to at least coexist when this happens. So I'm okay with that. That actually makes a lot of the shit that happens on camera a lot better for me because it shows that once things kind of start dying down, you guys can still be in a room together. Like you don't hate each other that much. And I know we're getting to a point with like Craig and Austen where it's like, oh yeah, these people aren't my life anymore. I don't want to deal with them anymore. But you're still able to do stuff together. You're still able to be in the same parties. And that's okay for me, honestly.
That's kind of the line that we look for, right? On when shows get a little tough to watch, it tends to be when we get a full fracture in the group. This show's great. It's a great season. It's a weird season because it's not great for, reasons that we've seen in the past on Southern Charm, but it's like really good. And I do agree with you. It's because everyone's not getting bogged down by some of the spats that we're having across the group, but it's just a fun group right now. And they are having fun together. And that's what these kind of shows need, right? Like the Summer Houses, the Southern Charm, Southern Hospitalities. Like we want to see these people have fun with each other with a little bit of drama sprinkled in. So I think that they're riding that line perfectly right now. I think that what you're also getting this season, more so than last year specifically, a lot of authenticity. This all feels very real right now. Like what they're going through. It doesn't feel like they're trying to drum up nonsense. It doesn't feel like they're making things up. Like this all feels pretty genuine to me. And that's when I love these shows, is when I'm like, oh, these guys are actually going through it, or we're actually watching them have fun, like all those things. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, it's absolutely a great mix of real world problems, real relationship problems, real friendship problems, and they're still able to have fun. So
Yep.
at the end of the day, they can cut loose, they can still coexist, they can still at least have fun with each other. And then it comes right back to it when the cameras start rolling again. So I'm okay with that. And I know that we've gone through a couple seasons with like Housewives in particular, where they would shut down cameras and then we would hear later or hear at the reunion, oh, we had a great night in the Bahamas. And then we would get
Yeah.
pissed off because we didn't get to see it when all we're seeing on camera is manufactured bullshit. This isn't really manufactured bullshit. Like if we were to just go like the top three that come to my mind right now, Austen and Craig, that's real. I mean, I know
yeah.
that it seems like it's drummed up and everything. This seems a lot more real than past seasons. It's still, a little annoying because it's just like, all right, we'll just walk away from each other at this point. I don't want to watch it anymore, but it's still real. So you can't deny that.
We know
Austen
for
and
a
Audrey,
fact that it's real, by the way.
yeah, it's absolutely real. And Austen and Audrey, that's also obviously very real. Austen broke up with Audrey. They ended up parting ways. He's going through it right now. And then Salley and Venita and Salley and Molly and all of the things that are going on the girl side of things, that's all very real. Like these things are actual, like legit real world problems that you will see in a friend group and you will see in a group that's forced to be together all the time. So I'm okay with all of that across the board. We're not pointing at anything like,
Nope.
enough, stop trying to push this, enough, stop trying to do this. It's all very real and you can like it or dislike it. I don't really care. But this is where I do like reality TV. This is where I do like watching these shows.
Yeah, I think they're in a sweet spot right now. And there's a lot of things. That's what I love as well. When you have this kind of roughly drawn map, right? And we're making the map as we go along. the potential next stops that we have. We have so many potential things that may or may not happen. That's exciting. That's what I want. I want to be, trying to drum up what I think's going to happen the whole time without knowing what's going to happen. And we have a lot of avenues. I'm not sure where we're going yet, and that's exciting for me. And I didn't realize we're 11 episodes in, and we didn't get Watch What Happens Live.
We didn't get Watch What Happens Live? Okay, then we are 11 episodes in. That actually makes sense. I think it premiered right after Thanksgiving, so that does make sense to me. But yeah, I mean, with like, where are we going to go next? Obviously, we do know that they have a trip to Mexico. This is like the perfectly timed trip, too. I know that we're at Whitner's farm, but they can't get too carried away because Whitner's family is pretty normal and very fun and very inviting, and they actually do have manners. That's one thing that I do like about Southern Charm is they're not just going to rip things off and just go wandering through the wild or anything like that. If they have any issues or problems or fights or anything, it's actually pretty low key because they don't want it to spill over to Whitner's parents. They don't want it to reflect poorly upon Whitner or their friend group. It is. It's like guardrails, or it's like bumpers at a fucking bowling alley. But with them going to Mexico next week or the week after, it's perfect because there is a lot of chaos internally. And whether you want to blame Craig, Salley, Venita, Austen, Shep, whoever it might be, it's going to spread through the group. And this isn't like, let's just use Kyle and Amanda. This isn't Kyle and Amanda on Summer House where it's like, all right, people are afraid to kind of walk the wrong way because they're both on edge, which we're not really seeing on Summer House, which I'm thankful for. It's not something like that that's going to ruin the whole group and ruin the vibe of the show. It's something that's actually going to create chaos because there's a lot of people talking about another person behind their back, and it's getting back to them as it should. So right now, going into Mexico, we're in a really good spot for something to blow up.
We're teed up perfectly. And that's when we want the shit to pop off, when there's no escape, when they are stuck somewhere. That's when it should happen. So we are headed in a great direction. But
hold on, quick before we even go to Mexico. Well, we're not going there.
We're not going to Mexico.
But over under one, I don't know if I should put it at 1.5 or 0.5. Let's put it over. Let's do it over under 1.
Okay.
Person falls asleep, not in their room, like in the beach or on the beach or on a beach chair by the pool
in Mexico
or in a hallway or something, just anywhere that's not their bedroom or someone else's bedroom.
Ooh.
So I think we're going to get 1. You can take the under and say nobody, obviously, but I do think we're going to get 1 and there's a chance for 2.
Well, I feel like you got to make the over 2 or 1.5. I think it has to be 1.5 because that's not fun.
One,
it could be 1. Not
1
really.
Is still fun.
What are you taking?
I think it's going to be over. I do think
you're going to hammer the over,
but
I hate taking the under.
I do think it's fun when somebody, because it didn't Shep fall asleep on the fucking beach chair last year
Shep
when they went down to the Bahamas?
We're going to get somebody out there. I'm going. You know what? Make it 1.5, and I'll hammer the over.
Okay,
I think we're going to get 2 people.
We'll move the line.
Sleeping. What's up?
We'll move the line.
Yeah, we need more people to bet on it. It'll change the odds. But anyway, let's jump into this episode. And we're setting up dinner at Itchy Grass Farm. I love that Whitner is talking through it with his parents. Like, hey, if there's fighting, just let it happen. Okay, guys? Like, this is not normal life. So you just need to let them go. But Dad's a character.
Big
Wit. This dude, they walk down the stairs. He's fine right now. He's riding the line of like, could be the creepy dad, but he's not being the creepy dad because they look at these goddesses, and he seems like he's in a good mood the whole time. So he's good vibes. I love his mom. Whitner's mom seems great. And it seems like a very normal family, like you said, which we love to see on these shows.
Well, I like the reaction even from Molly. Like, I'm going to marry Whitner because I love his mom. That's normal. That's just fun. That's great.
Yep.
I love that.
But Austen's big thing is that he does not want Craig and Shep to find out about Audrey. He wants to be able to do this whole thing on his own time. I think what he genuinely wants, the vibe I'm getting from Austen throughout this episode, I think that he is genuinely sad. I think he's working through a breakup. I think he wants to just have fun. I don't think he really wants to talk about shit on this trip. I think he just wants to kind of zone out. So I don't even know if it's a personal thing as much as it normally would be with Shep and Craig. Obviously, there's more to it than just him not wanting to talk about it. But I also get the vibe that he's just kind of like, look, it just happened. Like, we're at this beautiful place. I want to drink with my friends and not discuss this.
Yeah, I mean, it legitimately just happened like a day or two prior. That's the vibe
Yeah.
that I'm getting, and we didn't really get confirmation, but if we base it off of his conversation with Madison, I mean, that was that morning before they left. So he's very fresh. He's just kind of in his feels, and I don't blame him. I mean, why would you want to tell Craig and Shep? And I do think, obviously you're going to get different mixed reactions where because he's holding out the information and because other people know, it might strike them a little differently if they find out last, and they might take it personally, or they might do the thing where they completely spin it and be like, why would you think that I would make a big deal out of this? It's like, well, why
Oh,
wouldn't I think
God.
that you would make a big deal out of this, especially with the cameras rolling? So I don't really fault Austen for doing this. And he's got a good set of confidants. I mean, if you just lean on Rod the whole time, Rodrigo will have your back. Rodrigo will make jokes, and he'll try to cheer you up, and he'll try to get you back into some sort of normal mind capacity. And Madison knows, and Madison's a good person to lean on. Yes, does she have that weird little blurry line where it's like, ooh, I know that this is really good for TV, but I don't want to really betray his confidence, but I do at the same
She
time. It could
will
be a
in the
lot of
right
fun.
way, though. It's always in the
Correct.
right way.
Correct. It's always in the right way, but I do love just even her line of thinking, like, "Ah, God, I know this would be really good, but I don't know if I'm going to do it." And Rodrigo's not. Rodrigo will not betray that confidence, especially when he's watching Salley later in this episode. He's like, oh, fuck me. Like, I don't want anything to happen right now. I just don't want to deal with any of this. But when it's just the two of them one-on-one, you can have somebody to talk to that's not going to say different things like, oh, were you cheating on her in New York? Is that why this happened? Or was it Shep and Craig's fault? Like, he's not going to try to spin it into something else that would be chaotic for the show. He's just going to be there for his friends. So Austen knows that, and he's good. Like, if this is fresh, you don't need to tell that many people. You don't need to tell everybody. He did kind of let it slip a little bit to Salley on the phone, which was stupid. But if he just kept it in-house with Madison and Rodrigo, he'd be in a better spot.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that we'll take every opportunity we can to just mention how solid Rod is. Like that's what we really were missing on this show for a
Yeah.
long time. And he's filled that role really well. We haven't had a dude on this show that you can go to with your shit and not have him spin it or tell somebody else. Like we've had that on the ladies' side for a while. We have not had that for the guys. So Rod has been a much needed presence on this show. He's doing a great job. Salley is already salivating. Salley salivates at Itchy Grass Farms when she hears that Austen is single, and she is already setting her sights on him very hard. She's saying a lot of things. Like the minute that he walks into the room, she's like, oh, he's so hot. Oh my God, Austen, hey, over here. But we go and we get a quick conversation with Austen and Charley. Okay. And here's the funny thing, because we've gotten some comments because, yeah, we've been going hard on Craig this season. That's what we've been seeing. That's what we do. We comment on it, right? But in those people that are saying, like, I'm sick of the Craig hating this and that, they take shots at Austen. They are not synonymous. You don't have to say, stop hating on Craig, start hating on him.
Yeah.
Craig, like, they can be separate for some of this stuff. And this is a great example of why we should give Austen a little credit, even if you're a quote unquote Austen hater, because we sit down to have this conversation. Charley and Austen. Hey, what happened at the pool? What's going on? I don't want to know, but I fucking need to know. Salley brought to my attention that Craig said, and he goes to the fall in love thing. Unbeknownst to us, Austen was present for this conversation, and Austen relays what actually happened. He's like, all right, look, as much as I would like to add to this, I think there's a context thing that we're missing here. And we go and get a clip from it, which I didn't realize we had a clip. We've been speculating for weeks. We've had a clip this whole fucking time. And his thing was that he actually said, the last thing I want to do is have Charley drop her guard, and then I'm not all in. So it was actually a mature thing that he said, and something he was just evaluating the situation. Salley took that and ran with it. But here's my question. Somebody told Salley that. Shep? Who's talking to Salley about that conversation at the table?
Probably Whitney, if I had to take a chance.
Oh, was
out
Whitney
here.
there?
Yeah, Whitney was there. It was at Austin's birthday party.
Okay,
No,
right.
it was at
right.
Austin's dinner. If I had to take some sort of person from that party, the way that Austin's talking about it, the way that he's talking to Charley about it, it clearly wasn't him. Shep, maybe, but I don't think that Shep wants to keep doing the shit that he's getting blamed for doing.
The
Like, I
Shep
do
slip.
think that he understands what's going on. And I also don't really think he has that kind of relationship or friendship with Salley to call her up or see her out and be like, oh, by the way, this is what's going on. Could I see it? Absolutely. But if I have to pick one person at the table, it's probably Whitney. And here's the thing about that clip that we got. that could have very well been in that episode. Like, this is how nuanced and bullshitty it is. That could have very well happened on screen 2 weeks ago when we saw Austen's dinner,
Mhm.
and we didn't think anything of it because it's a normal comment. The way that it has been spun into whatever Craig said, and he said that I'm afraid that she's going to fall in love with me and I don't want to do that, break her heart. He didn't say that. So
Nope.
the fact that we're not able to create parallels or draw lines to what he said just goes to show you how crazy it is. It just goes to
Mhm.
show you how much that shit has been spun up before it even got to Salley. Or maybe Sally's the one who took some information. Like, maybe Shep did have a comment to Salley, or Austen had a comment to Salley about Craig and Charley, thinking, hey, this is Craig's line of thinking right now. Craig's just worried that she's going to fall for him and he's not really all in and he doesn't want to do that to her. And Salley hears, oh, she's worried that Charlie's going to completely fall in love with him and he's going to be a
Yeah.
dickhead. That's a possibility too. Like, that's what we have to do at this point. So I'm happy we do have it on film. We have the original comment on film. And I'm also really happy that Austen, and this is kind of where he is, and he says something about that with the honey later. As much as I want to be a dickhead right now and completely burn Craig to the ground, I'm not going to. So he's got
Mhm.
integrity. I don't know if it's just integrity in himself or if he still has, like, the materialized version of what their friendship is. And he's still got that out there where it's like, all right, like, I don't want to completely fuck the guy over if he didn't say this just because I'm mad at him. So it's probably a combination of the two. But I like that he's towing the line where he just smirks a little bit and he's like, this could be a good opportunity to fuck Craig over, but I'm not going to do it. Here's what he said. It's not that bad. And when you hear it and then see it again, and Charley receives it too, she's like, oh, like,
She's like, okay.
that's just normal anxiety. Like, that's just a guy who got out of a long-term relationship that isn't really sure what he wants in a relationship, but he's vibing with me. And now he feels bad. Like, it shows me that Craig probably has remorse for the Salley thing, even though he maybe didn't realize it. Maybe he wasn't doing everything intentionally. He may have taken a step back after that conversation with Salley and was like, fuck, like, was I really leading her on? And he was leading her on, but was I really leading her on? Now I feel bad. So he has remorse for that. So that's kind of what I'm getting from all of this. And Austen's able to convey that to Charley, which obviously helps her and quells some of her fears, because we know how things just get completely spun out of control in this group when things are said.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm on board with the remorse thing. I do see what you're saying. I'm not saying that's not a possibility, because getting to where he is with the Charley thing implies that the Salley thing left a mark. He doesn't want to do that again. So I see what you're saying. But let's go to Shep, Rod, and Madison. And they're sitting down. We already know what this conversation is going to be about, because Shep wants the tea. Rod asks what's going on with Austen and Craig. Or Madison does. Doesn't really matter. Somebody asks Shep what's going on with those two. Well, Austen has a point and Craig has a point, but Austen allows himself to be manipulated more than anybody I've ever met. Do go on. I'm not like, this isn't just a Austen Stan podcast now. I'm not like doing that. But what? Like, can you give me an example?
Me?
Yeah,
No.
genuinely. Like, I was just confused. I was like,
No.
when have we seen him like manipulated?
He's not. That's the thing, is like, he's not manipulated. And I think he should have just stopped the sentence at, well, Austen has a point and Craig has a point and they're butting heads. That's all it is. That's all it
Yeah.
ever is. That's all it's ever fucking been on this show with these two. Just stop it there. You don't have to then say, like, you're pretty much being asked point blank, who's at fault here? Who's
Yeah.
really the problem here? And he says neither of them are the problem. They both have their point. And then he ends up trying to pick one side. Like,
But he
what are you
weirdly
doing?
picks Craig as the one that's wrong, because by throwing a backhand at
Kinda.
Austen by saying Austen's overly manipulated, which is a mean thing to say about Austen, but weirdly is in defense of Austen, because that's implying that Craig's manipulating him. Ipso facto, Craig's the asshole. See? So
Shep's-
it's a weird Shep thing.
Shep's already, like, he's just digging a bigger grave.
Yes.
It's like, he's already here. You don't have to pick a side. I know that, somebody might get mad at you if you don't pick a side, but you're not picking a side. He's still not really picking a side by saying these things. He's just doing weird backhanded manipulations
Yeah.
and then digging deeper. Like, the well does not need to be that deep, buddy. You're already good. You're
Yeah.
fine where you are. Nobody actually really wants to hear what your situation is and what you think on it.
No,
It's
not at
just
all.
more like, if you have more information that we don't have, is pretty much the question. Like, is there something deeper here? Is there something that was said to you in confidence? Is there something that was said when we weren't around that really led to this? And there isn't necessarily. And Shep knows that there isn't, but he's not really picking a side. He's just making it a much deeper situation than it really is. And I don't understand why. And it doesn't make any sense to me.
I have no idea. And that's like, there should have been subtext for him. Like, hey, is there anything we don't know going on between Austen and Craig? Not, hey,
Yeah.
because he thinks that they're asking, what's your take on this whole thing? That's not what they're saying, Shep.
No.
And we haven't had this in a while, though. I don't even know if that's like a good for you, Shep, for not doing this for a while, but we haven't had a Shep breakdown of a situation, the hypocritical Shep breakdown. So he starts going in. He's like, look, this is so good. He's like, he just needs to get off his ass and do something. Like, he's so indecisive. Your indecisiveness is going to be your undoing. Shep, like, before you say stuff, sometimes just think, does this also apply to me? Could I look at myself and say this? And if you can say yes, just don't say it. You just don't have to say it all the time. And Madison is obviously, they know that he broke up with Audrey. So as Shep's trying to talk through this, he's like, I don't know what to say to him. Madison's like, don't give him advice. Please don't give him any fucking advice.
Yep.
I have to. Rod from the top rope. You? Really? You do? Come on now. Boom. Slam dunk on his ass. But it's such a Shep move to look at this situation. And the thing that's funny about it, and I feel like I've gotten a pretty good read on who Shep is at this point after watching him for so many seasons. He's well-intentioned. He does want to be best friends with Austen. He does want to be best friends with Craig. He wants to do and say and be the right thing for them. He simply does not know how. And this is the perfect example, because in trying to understand where Austen is and explain to them where you think Austen is, you have inadvertently talked more shit about Austen, which he will hear about and say, this is what I'm talking about, dude. You go and it's one topic, and all of a sudden now I'm overly manipulated and I can't shit or get off the pot, is what you're telling me. Why are you talking to people about this stuff? Like, this is the whole point, Shepard.
It is. I mean, it's really funny for all the reasons that you just gave too, because his line of thinking here is still, well, Austin's too much of a pussy to just break up with Audrey. Like, that's where he still is. And that's what got you in trouble. You're talking about what you think Austen wants to do. And I'm not saying that Austen wasn't also like kind of weighing the options and thinking about breaking up with Audrey. I'm not saying that he wasn't scared to break up with Audrey because he doesn't know what's on the other side of that. He very well could have been. He didn't want you talking about this like you knew. Same with Craig. He didn't want both of you putting your heads together and saying, oh, we know what's best for Austen. We know what he's thinking. He's just too much of a pussy to get through it. That's the whole problem. And even though you know that he's still mad at you for exactly that, you're still trying to just Switzerland in the middle between Craig and Austen. And when you're asked about Austen and how he's doing, you say he needs to shit or get off the pot. Yep. So you still have a very strong opinion about his relationship, which is what he didn't want. But in Shep's brain, he thinks he's being a good friend because he just needs to give Austen that push that he can't give himself. That's what got you in trouble in the first place, moron. And Shep is like, I do think that he's one of those people that's like book smart, or like he remembers things. He reads a lot of books, reads a lot of history, whatever.
He's intelligent, but he's
very intelligent, but he's a fucking moron, because here we have Madison and Rod saying in so many ways, Austen and Audrey are broken up. You just have to ask. Instead of giving advice, ask some questions. To me, I'm laughing because I'm like, what do you mean? Like, that would tell me right away. Like, what do you mean I have to ask him a question? Oh, okay. That's what this is all about. That's what they're saying, moron. And instead he's like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm in a position to ask him any questions. It's just not really what I want to do. But you're going to talk to him. Like, you know yourself, Shep. You know that eventually you're going to have some one-on-one or one-on-two time with Shep, or with Austen, maybe with Rodrigo, whoever it might be. And you're going to have an opportunity to ask that question. And you can ask it point blank. Where are you with Audrey? I'm just making sure that you're good in your relationship, whatever you want to do. And if Austen spins out of control and he gets pissed off that you even asked that, then that's what he's going to do. That's his prerogative based on what you've done in your history with this whole thing. But still, do not give it unwarranted advice. It's never going to land. And nobody wants advice from the guy who's been single for fucking ever. And I'm not even counting that relationship with Taylor because that wasn't real. So no, nobody wants your advice.
No, because you don't have anything to add of value in this topic. And that's not even me being mean. It's just life experience. Like, you can't comment on this. You haven't been in this scenario before. And by trying to comment on it, you make your problem worse. Like you said, you're digging the hole. The well is deep enough, pal. Drop the shovel. But
Yeah.
speaking of holes,
What?
I just meant digging a hole, but that sounded really bad.
Oh, dude.
I was just talking about another hole being dug.
Shia
That's what
LaBeouf? Oh, okay.
digging up a hole, digging. Remember that song?
I sure
You
do.
got to go dig those holes.
You
I'm tired, Grandpa.
I like how I make a reference to the movie and you go, do you remember the song for that movie? Yes, I
I don't
remember
know.
the song
I
from
hope
that
so.
movie.
Maybe I just wanted to sing it with you. I was trying to have a moment, a holes moment. Get in my
Dude,
hole. Let's have a
stop.
moment.
Oh, God. I would
I've
get in
had a
your
long
butthole.
day. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you. Now, anyway, Sally and Craig are talking. And Craig opens it up with, hey, we're good, right? Sure. Why wouldn't you be, given everything that's gone on so far? But this one's a little bit different because we now know for a fact that Craig didn't say what she's saying that he said. The biggest takeaway for me here, Sally, I'm on your team for most of this shit. Just butt out of this one. You know, you've got
Maybe,
Austen.
yeah.
You can go do that whole thing. But like when it comes to the Charley, Craig, all of that's going on, I think you would do yourself a lot of favors if you just didn't get involved anymore.
Yeah, in the fucking real world. In this
Oh yeah,
show,
sure.
I want her to get more involved. I want her to stalk them. I want her to pop up at Charlie's house just to see what her and Craig are doing. When they're talking down in Mexico saying, do you think that Sally knows if we kissed? I want there to be footage of Sally hiding behind bushes watching them kiss. I want her super involved. She is fucking hilarious. I love how involved she is. I think she's fucking great for this show. And I do think that this conversation is bizarre. I think
It's
it's so
strange.
bizarre. The fact that Craig comes in, he had all this energy yesterday, which again, now that we know what you said, of course you're going to have that kind of energy. But to just drop that energy and walk over to her and say, hey, we're cool, right? What do you
Everything's good.
mean? What do you mean? Like that, unfortunately for Craig, looks manipulative. It looks like you're playing with her emotions. It looks like you're still holding on to the fact that Sally does still want to be close to you. She wants to be your friend. And if we know anything about Sally, if she still has a shot, she's still going to go after you. Now, I know that Austen's available and she's just kind of got her sights on that. But as she says later, if Austen walks over and says, hey, there's nothing going on here, she might go back to Craig if there's still a door open here. So don't really do anything along the lines of, hey, we're good, right? We can still be close, right? We're always going to be close, is something that he says during this whole conversation. Makes no sense. It is a complete 180 from what you said earlier in the day, a few hours prior. You walk in and you're like, hey, we're cool, right? Like, we're always going to be friends. You just said that you don't want her around anymore because she creates too much chaos. Like, this is a little bipolar for me. I don't think I can handle this.
No, it's wacky. It's bizarre. And you know, given what we're gonna watch later with him and Charlie on the boat, where again, he brings up Sally a lot. You don't have to insert Sally into your current scenario.
You should
with
be
Charlie.
running away from her. Like, you should
I
be
know.
actively avoiding using her name just because if you say it 3 times in like 5-10 minutes, she will pop up. Like, she is Bloody Mary. It's going to happen.
I don't understand. And like, this is part of the problem that we're having with Craig is the 180s, you're feeling this way and then bang, you're feeling a totally different way, which you're not. And like you said, coming into this conversation with we're good, right? It's like leading question, Your Honor, objection. I don't know. And that's Sally was kind of taken off guard too. She was like, what? I guess. But my whole thing with these two, like if it gets to the stalkery, that kind of shit, like, okay, that'd be funny to watch. But I don't want to see this all season either. These two just awkwardly butting heads like this. Like I would be cool with them just going their separate ways at this juncture, personally.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for both of them because if we're gonna take Craig for his word, he does think that Sally's a good friend or could be a good friend, and maybe that's where he's coming from. Again, I do think that he's a little twisted in his own thinking, so that could be what he's thinking. And Sally, there's still some real emotions there, but she probably is also holding on to a friendship. So if they are going to do this and they are going to butt heads and go back and forth, it's unfortunate for both of them because I do think they would do themselves both a service to just kind of sever ties a little bit. I know that you can't really fully sever ties on a show like this, but to just completely disconnect for a little while and see what happens.
Just for a bit.
That would be in their both, it would be in both of their best interests, but it seems like neither of them can really do that for the other for one reason or another.
Isn't that interesting? That's
Yeah.
like a really interesting point because Craig's putting the emphasis on Sally, but Craig brings up Sally a lot. I'm not saying that he wants to date her or anything like that, but he talks about her almost as much as she talks about him.
Yeah. Craig's could be like a nervous tick. Like he
I
might
don't
just,
know.
he gets in his head so much with these things, and we've seen him try to flirt with girls. It doesn't really work out that well. Maybe he's in his own head about like, is
I don't know.
Charley ever really going to give me a chance because Sally's here? And maybe if I talk about her more and talk about the things that she's doing, it'll kind of push her away a little bit.
Yeah,
And that's
okay.
just my way of thinking here. Like maybe that's what he's doing. It's
That
like
tracks.
he's getting anxiety about this whole thing because he really likes Charley, but he does realize that Sally could get in the way of this. And obviously, we're privy to a lot of the conversations that Charley's having where she doesn't care what Sally's doing. She really
No.
doesn't. She's good. This whole thing has ended between Craig and Sally. In her eyes, she's good. She can go after Craig and see if anything's there. But Craig doesn't really know that. And he hasn't heard that from anybody because he's been butting heads with all of the guys and the girls in the group. So nobody's going to pull him aside and be like, hey, dude, Charley doesn't care about Sally. Like, you can drop all of this. So maybe in his brain, he's got anxiety about it. And he's like, maybe if I
Okay.
keep talking about how much of a friend I view Sally as, or keep talking about the things that she's doing, it's going to give me a better chance with Charley. And really, he's already kind of in. Like he
Yeah.
just doesn't realize it.
I will give Charley a lot of props for how she's handling all of this because she's still able to maintain that friendship with Sally somehow. I don't know how she's navigating it so well. With Craig, she's not like anytime Craig brings up Sally, Charley doesn't take the bait. She lets him finish his sentence and then she changes the topic or
Yeah.
comments on something else. So a lot of kudos to Charley and the way she's handled this entire thing. But let's get to dinner. Quite the spread out there in the backyard. And as soon as Austen walks out of the house, Austen, there's a seat right here, right over here, buddy.
Mhm.
Hey, over here. Where are you at with this? Do you think it's funny? Are you
Yeah, I think
over
it's
it
funny.
yet? Okay, cool.
No, not
I do
yet.
too.
No, I think it's fucking hilarious, honestly. More so, like, yes, is it cringy? Of course it's fucking cringy. Of
Well, yeah.
course it's wacky as hell that she's doing this so quickly after finding out that he's single. It's bizarre. Her
Tough
comments
look.
make me fucking giggle. But more so than that, I love watching everybody's reaction. I mean, Rod, during this whole scene while she's talking about Austen gets up to go to the bathroom. She wants to go with him so that she can get his fucking dick, as she says. Rod is about to hurl. And it was a beautiful dinner, beautiful spread. And he doesn't want to puke in front of Whitner's beautiful parents, but he might still. It's just, it's getting to everybody else. Like, are you fucking kidding me? We're doing this now. We just had to endure you and Craig for like 2 months. You had like a 2-second interval there where you and Craig were done and you were pissed at him and he was your mortal enemy. Now you're just completely onto Austen. I don't know. Maybe it's like the lesser of two evils. Like, do you really want Sally to spend the rest of the season just poo-pooing Craig and getting after him at every turn because he turned her down? Or do you want her to set her sights on Austen and be a little bit more fun? I want that one. That
So
one
do I.
seems a lot more fun to me.
Yeah, it is like it's funny. It's cringy as shit, but that's kind of why it's so funny.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, you get to watch everyone else react in real time. And to her credit, I will always give people props that have no shame. Like I do think there's something empowering about being that person and saying, I don't really
Yeah.
give a fuck. This is what I'm gonna do. So I'll give her props for that too. I think it's hysterical. I want it to happen for the rest of the season, just like this.
Just keep.
Where
I don't
yeah,
want, and I know that they do hook up at some point. I don't want them to hook up. I just
no,
want
me
it to
neither.
keep happening, and I want Austen to perpetually be in that state where like he's afraid to just say no to her, which is
Mhm.
all he has to do. Do I really believe that when Sally goes to her confessional and she's like, "Hey, if Austen just says, hey, there's no chance here, we're better as friends," then I'll leave it alone. I'll move on. I don't think that she will. I think that she'll still throw up the bat signal every once in a while, but I do think that Austen's the type of guy that will never actually say no. It's not because he likes the attention. It's because he gets a little too nervous. He gets
He
a little
feels
too
bad.
into his own head, and he feels really bad if he says no. 'Cause I don't want to deny her. Like, she's having a good time and she seems to like me. I just feel bad saying no. That's the kind of loop that we would be in if they never hooked up. And I'm so sad that we're not going to get that because we do know that they eventually hook up. It seems like in Mexico. But if that never happened, I would be laughing about this the whole season.
Yeah, I know. I really wish we could get that, but we get to play a dinner game. And as Madison says, fuck dinner games. They never go well.
Mhm.
This one went fine. It had a moment where it could have taken a sharp left, but it didn't, because we get to Craig and he was like, I want to change my reactiveness or something like that, which the reactions and the guffaws I was actually a little surprised about, because the question was, what would you change, right? It wasn't, what have
Yeah.
you changed?
No. I mean,
So
he did go on to say that he's better now, which
that
maybe
was,
he is, maybe
roll the
he
eyes at
isn't.
that one, but
Yeah, you can roll the
I
eyes
just
at
think
that one.
time and place on that one.
I agree with that. I do think that it's just I don't want this show to just be everything that Craig says is condescending and everything
I
that
don't
Craig
either.
says is just like demeaning the rest of us, because I don't really think that's what he's doing. I think he's just fucking talking. Let's just go back to Craig's a bit of a fucking idiot. Like when Craig's talking, like when we look at Shep and Shep's talking, we look at Shep and say, Jesus, you're a fucking moron. Like, do you not have any grip on what's going on? We don't say, oh, he's being super condescending and he's being elitist, even though you could take it that way. I mean, you could spin things into that if you really wanted to. Let's just do that with Craig. Like, not everything he's saying is a fucking personal attack. Not everything he's saying is completely delusional. So I get tired of that. And there are times where that would call for it. This isn't one of them.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got. That's coming from somebody like I am really having a tough time with Craig this season because of the recovery stuff. Like that's going to be under my skin forever, probably. So I'm looking for things. And even when I saw it, I'm like, all right, we can't do this with everything he says.
No.
We'll never get anywhere. And it's going to force him to have a reaction that everyone's going to comment on and be like, here he goes again. But it's
Yep.
like you teed him up for that one. So
And
I
maybe
agree
they
with you.
didn't. There's also the outside chance that they didn't actually react that way, and they're
Oh, that's,
using
yeah.
reactions from something else and putting it in post production. Like that would also be really fucking annoying. So we don't really know, but I get it. And this is a tick for Craig. If you want Craig to be normal and not reactive, stop reacting to the things he's saying. Like you guys can put an end to it. You guys don't have to comment on everything that he says, and then he won't spin out of control. And then you don't have to look at him and be like, wow, you're doing it again. He just won't do it. Like it's two can play at this game, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense that they haven't pieced that together to me.
No, and like obviously hold him accountable for the dumb shit he
Sure.
does. This isn't one of them, in my opinion. So that's, again, we could save some time by not getting into it. I actually, then she said that, I could see that being a production move. That could definitely have been put in
Yeah.
post. I don't know. But I do think we get a little foreshadowing, because Whitner's thing was to, where was it? Oh, I wish I could be less hot headed. And we haven't seen
Mhm.
that at all.
No, but
Obviously,
we're
right?
waiting for that shoe to drop because everybody in their Watch What Happens Live skits is talking about, why are you not with Whitner? He seems like a great guy. He's a real gentleman. Well, Whitner's got some things going on, and you'll see that in the scene. Like, we still haven't seen shit.
Deb
We
and
haven't
I
seen a
talked about
goddamn
that
thing.
today.
Yeah.
She said, what's wrong with this guy? Because he's the Jimmy Buffett thing. You got this beautiful farm. You've got money.
Mhm.
You're a lawyer. Like, what's going on? What's the question mark? So
There's gotta be something.
I don't know. I don't
It
know.
could honestly, it could be nothing. Like this group is so tight knit that it could just be a weird offhanded comment. I mean, it took Rodrigo 3-4 seasons to actually get to the point that he's at right now, and he was still friends with them. Like Whitner, they've known him for a couple of years. They've known him from around town. It might just be something like wrong place, wrong time that we would typically just write off for anybody else and be like, all right, well, whatever. That was a stupid comment. He might do that at the wrong time, and then everybody turns on him. It's like, Whitner, where the fuck did you come from? Like, it
Yeah,
might be
maybe.
something like that. And then again, that's something that if it plays out on screen, we'll be able to judge it right there and just call it stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure where he's gonna go. And I thought, maybe he's still fucked up from the fiance leaving him. I don't know. But there is a big
He has to
question
get over
mark
that.
around Whitner, and we need to know what that is. I think we're
Yeah.
going to figure it out. And I think that's why they left this in, where he's hot headed, because it's like, ooh, I think they're leading us towards water a little bit. But Charlie says to Craig, you need to fix this Austen thing, man. He's going through a breakup. Skirt. No. What did you do? I
This was
literally said
great.
that out loud. I was
I
like,
love that she
why?
did that. Yeah.
I know,
It's
because
the most unassuming person. Her and Molly are the most unassuming people at the table that could let that slip. I didn't
Mhm.
even know that Charlie knew.
I
I had
didn't
no
either.
idea that Charlie knew, but I guess, they are staying together. So maybe while getting ready, Sally let it slip. Oh,
Oh,
no.
no, she was in
Sally
the
already told
car
Charlie.
with
Yeah. Yeah. She
Sally.
was in the car. So yeah, she already knew what was going on. I I think it's fucking hilarious that Charlie's the one who let it slip, especially straight to Craig. And Craig's like, hey, I don't want Austen to think that I'm talking about him. So let's not do this right now.
Well, that
He
was a
got
good move
scared.
too.
That was a great move. This
I'll
is
give him credit.
If you put Austen's conversation earlier in the conversation or early in the episode with Charley about what Craig said, and you put this together, just compile them and show it to both of them. Like, hey, you guys are both really scared to talk about each other and just step on each other's toes. It's going to be okay. You both have your best interest at heart. That's all you got going on here. And maybe it's, not, I really want to be friends with this guy again. Maybe it's, that's kind of what Craig says here, isn't it? He's like, yeah,
More or
just for
less.
like the sake of, our potential friendship, if we were to ever come back together, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But I like
He left
this
the door
response.
open.
He leaves the door open. And again, no one's wrong in this situation right now, currently. Austen's not wrong for not wanting to share with Craig and Shep. And Craig's also not wrong for saying, hey, I don't really want to talk about that right now. They're both in the same realm.
Yep. 100%. And I agree. Maybe just show them that. Be like, you guys aren't that far away. There is a chance that you could be friends again. We're cleaning up dinner and we're having some side conversations. I do have to point this out. And I'm sorry, Salley, because I don't want to just like pile on Salley. And actually, I'm going to defend her shortly. So this is actually like a pro Salley episode. But when Charley and Craig are talking, because Charley doesn't have another outfit to change into, like something casual, like after dinner, put some sweats on. Craig offers sweats and a t-shirt. Anybody else can comment on this. It is fair game, and it's a layup. Like, oh, Jesus, dude, really? Like that, but it's a funny little dig. There's one person that can't, because you bragged about having Craig's clothes. Salley, you said you had a pile of Craig's clothes in your closet.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. You can thank Dev for pointing that one out. And I was like, oh God, you're right. Like she literally was on camera in Craig's t-shirt and shorts and sweats. So you don't get to say this about Charley now. Are they married?
Point. I did not think about that. Again, I agree with you. I do think, maybe Austen shouldn't make a comment either, but
yeah,
Sally's the one who absolutely should not make this comment. Again, you've got your sights set on Austen. You should just put this all behind you. Who cares what Craig and Charley are doing? It doesn't matter. Just go find Austen's dick. Go shake it for him when he has to go pee, and you're good. Like enough of this. Just leave it behind you. You're going to be better for it.
Austen's dick.
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, speaking of Austen's dick, Shep and Austen sit down to have a little conversation, and immediately Shep does what Madison and Rod said not to do. He immediately starts giving Shep advice, which he can't help himself. You can't even blame the guy. This is just his move. He gets on his high horse. He thinks he knows better. So he's going to explain to you what's going on. Your indecisiveness, man. Austen, I just really don't want to talk about it right now. I'm good, dude. Like, we don't need to talk about it. He's like, oh, well, but like being vulnerable is like super important. I know. I've been vulnerable with lots of people, countless other people, Shep. I just don't want to talk about this with you because of the way that you reveled in it previously with the New York thing and talking about the girls and telling Craig, like, this is why. Put these pieces together. But it's very interesting to hear Shep in his side convos. And then when he's talking about this, he thinks he's being the mature one. I have to tell my friend where he's fucking up. Austen's handling of this is actually one of the more mature things I've seen out of Austen, because he's like, I know where I'm at. I don't want to do this right now. I figured this thing out. I took care of the Audrey thing. I'm just kind of basking in the aftermath, trying to figure out my next move. I'm a little sad. I don't want to talk to you because you've burned me. That's a mature thing, to not go back to the person that burned you multiple times and not tell them, and to stand your ground and say boundaries. Boundaries, Shep. You fucked this up too many times. I'm good, dude. Bye.
Yeah, he did a really good job of doing the 50-50 thing here, where yes, you're getting your point across that you don't want to tell Shep specifically, and that you do have people that you can talk to, that you can confide in, that aren't going to immediately spill the beans and start talking about you. But you're also saying, I don't want to have this conversation right now. So you're not completely closing the door. You're not saying, Shep, I'm never going to talk to you about this shit again. You're saying, in this time and place, in this setting, this isn't what I want to do right now. I just told you how I feel about divulging information to you. And also, I don't want to do this right now after dinner, before we go have a couple of drinks, before we go have some fun. I just don't want to do it. I just kind of want to do it. And again, I do think if Shep knew at this point in time that Austen and Audrey were done, he may have understood. Like, all right, dude, like, I get it. This isn't the time. You're still working through your emotions. even though he would still ask him a bunch of questions in his own Shep way, he would get that Austen doesn't want to talk about it right now because it's just too fresh and it's too real. So that going all pretty much everything to say, I think Austen handled it perfectly.
Yeah, and I'm glad that he ended it with telling him, like, dude, you broke my heart, honestly. Like, I'm always
Yeah.
worried you're gonna run and tell someone if I tell you anything, and it fucking kills me, dude. So it's like, here's my vulnerability. You hurt me, Shep. You hurt me,
Yep.
and now you need to fix me.
That's all you got to do.
Something, just
Or
fix
something
me.
along those lines.
Yeah, you know. Anyway, we get to the next morning, and
Well,
we,
hold
oh,
on. Before we get to the next morning, I got to talk to you guys about Row Body. And you've heard us talk about Row Body before. Maybe you're considering getting into the GLP-1 world. Maybe you're considering talking to a couple of your friends, just trying to see what's right for you. I'm telling you guys right now, if I needed to use GLP-1s, I would go right to Row Body. I have a few friends that are doing GLP-1s, and GLP-1s are so good for you, honestly, because they're not just about weight loss. They're also going to give you a little bit more confidence. They're going to make your lab reads look a lot better. They're going to give you that confidence that you need, especially going into the summer. This is the best time to do it. And Row Body offers a new GLP-1 pill that has the same weight loss ingredient as the shot and packs comparable results to the shot. It can help patients lose 14% of their body weight in a year on average. And that's one daily pill for fewer cravings and feeling fuller with an innovative new formula clinically proven to maximize weight loss. The Row Body membership includes access to FDA-approved GLP-1s, unlimited provider messaging, side effect management, and more, all for just $45 for your first month and $145 a month thereafter. The Row membership excludes the cost of GLP-1 medication. In addition to the new approved pill, Row also offers a full suite of the most effective brand name FDA-approved GLP-1s, all at the lowest cost. So go to row.co/brobros to see if you're eligible for the new GLP-1 pill on Row. That's ro.co/brobros to get started on Row. Go to row.co/safety for boxed warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications based on study in non-diabetics with obesity or overweight plus a weight-related condition with diet and exercise. Now we'll get to the morning after.
so we get to the morning after, and we're with Sally and Molly recapping everything, and we just get a run through of the night. I'm bummed that after Mexico, we may not get this because Sally stood up in front of an entire party and said Austin's going to be eating this ass by the end of the year. I don't care if you cringed. I need 50 more of those throughout this season because that's fucking funny, dude. Like,
It's funny as hell, honestly. And I just love the rest of the crew is just crickets. You get
Yeah.
one person that asks like a little bit of a clarification. What do you mean? Nope. That is you meant it
he's
literally.
going to eat
Okay.
my ass.
Okay. All right, cool. That's great. And then everybody just moves on with their lives. I love it. I think it's fucking hilarious. And again, I'm not that mad that we didn't get full scenes from the night. It looked like they were having a lot of fun. I just need to know that they were having fun together. That's really it. Give me a couple clips, give me a couple of phone edits. I don't care what it is. Just show me that they're having a good time so that I don't feel bad about having to watch them all fall apart in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we want to make sure they're having a little bit of fun before the
Yeah.
fallout, you know? But we check in with Austen in the morning, and he's going through it a little bit. This is normally when he would pick up the phone, call Audrey. We've watched this scene 50 times.
Yeah.
Post night, he wakes up in the morning, gives Audrey a FaceTime. They chit chat for a little bit. So he's dealing with a lot of this shit, and luckily he's got Rod there to help him out. And we just get a rundown of what's happening today. We're heading to breakfast. We got Craig's honey. We get another funny line from Austen. I want to hate this, but that's good. I know what they're doing. We're testing waters a little bit. Like we're testing
And Craig
waters to
handled it
see-
well. Craig didn't
handled it
react.
fine. Nope. I was nervous. I was genuinely nervous, but
Yep.
he was able to shrug that one off. So we're moving in the right direction. And we get the download of the day. What's everybody doing? Well, some people are going to go fishing. We've got some canoes. And then Big Wit. And I'll take the remaining ladies for a tour. All right, Big Wit. Yeah,
I wish
buddy.
that he had included that we're going to go to the pool afterwards because that would be a big selling point. He just said we're going to go for a tour. I mean, I do want to see the estate.
I
but,
want the
like,
tour.
You give me some activities. I'm going to go do the activities. I'd probably go fishing. Probably. I don't think I'm going to go on the lovers canoe. Actually, no, I would go on the lovers canoe. I would be sitting right in the middle of Craig and Charley. That's where
Just
I would
staring at them. What's up, guys?
No, I would be the Sally lookout. I'd have binoculars. Like, there we
wait.
go.
there
Shit.
she is.
Oh boy. Oh God. There we are.
Found her. And it's important to note that Madison has left early because she feels like she's going to have this baby early. Her body is telling her, you're not making it 6 more weeks. This baby's coming any day. So she bounces, heads home to Brett, and we get to our activities. Charley and Craig are going canoeing, and then you get the boys going fishing with Austen, Shep, and Rod. So that's the setup. And when we're fishing, it was so funny to me to call this out because it is an important distinction. Now, there is rich people hunting and fishing, and then there is regular people hunting and fishing. Rich people fishing, they don't touch the stuff. They get their line set, they throw it out. They might take a picture with the fish, but then they hand everything back to the guide. We get to see that in real time right here because they're fishing with worms. First thing that pissed me off was that Shep was like, we're not going to catch shit. Are you looking at the same pond that I am? As an avid bass fisher when I lived in Florida, this thing looks like it's swimming with fish, no pun intended. You got great coverage, it got great depth. You're throwing worms out there. You're going to hit probably immediately. So I'm glad that we caught a fish. And you know what that fish was? We even get a nod to Sonia and Luann. That was a crappie.
That was a
out of that
crappie.
lake. That was a
Okay,
crappie.
yeah. How
They got a
about that?
crappie out of there. Bluegill. But anyway, before we start talking about the dudes, we go to Charley and Craig. And genuinely, like, I don't have an issue with them. Like, I do think that this is like a cute little budding relationship. I don't know where it's going to go. I still think that Charley's going to get burned. But for now, Charley's a grown up. She can make her own decisions. It's a cute little thing. What I don't need, what Craig doesn't need to do, and we talked about it already, stop bringing Salley up. Stop
Yeah.
talking. It's like bringing up your ex. Like, there's no reason. And I know what he's doing. He's testing the waters. He's seeing how Charley feels about it. Is she feeling weird about Salley? Is she going to get in the way of Charley and I? So I'm just going to keep telling her, like, we're always having fun. And then Salley shows up. It's like, well, because you're doing two things there. One,
Yeah.
you're bringing Salley back up. Two, Charley's still friends with Salley. So you can't talk shit about Salley to Charley.
If we didn't have the clip of, I guess, after they had their first kiss down in Mexico, Craig asking, do you think that Salley knows that we kissed? Then I would have some hope because I'd be looking at this like, all right, like, I think he just needs to get this out of the way. He just needs to talk through it a little bit. And Charley's handling it perfectly. I mean,
Yeah, she
she's
handles it
not
great.
she's not like exacerbating the situation. She's not talking more about Salley and feeding into the whole thing. She's just letting him get it out and then kind of changing the subject, like you said earlier. But because we know that he eventually does ask if Charley knows, if Salley knows that they kissed, it's not going away anytime soon. And it could be an eventual pitfall, which sucks too, because if we just look at them together, they look fine. They look
Yeah.
like they could be a good
Cute.
couple. I mean, Charley looks like a good match for Craig. She's able to just handle all of this shit, and she's not really worried about all the other things that come with it. She's just kind of focusing in on that and seeing where it goes. It seems to be going in a good place as long as Craig can stop talking about Salley, but he keeps talking about Salley, and eventually that is going to wear thin. Eventually that's going to get to a point where it's like, all right, enough. And will Craig be able to stop doing that? I don't think so, and it could be a pitfall.
That's the question mark. But to Charley's credit again, for example, in changing the subject, when he says the Salley thing, her response is, we can't let other people affect us, not specifically pointing at Salley. So she does a good job of sidestepping that one. And then when they're not talking about Salley, they do seem cute. It seems fun. Like I want to see where this goes. I don't want to see where it goes with Salley being involved. But
Yeah, I agree.
back at the boys, Austen catches his crappie. He calls Rod a stupid bitch, which was funny. And we get a catch and release joke. And Rod is trying to push Austen to tell Shep. That's what he's doing. He's like, can we just fucking do this already? Austin's still playing coy. He's reiterating, I do not want to talk about this with you, Shep.
A lot of fish jokes, man.
Yeah, I am. Did I make another one? What did I
Coy.
say? Oh, nice. Hell yeah. Wow. A lot of fish puns. Now that I'm thinking about it, I won't be able to think of any more. That's a bummer. But
That's all right.
anyway, nope, that wouldn't have worked. See, I tried.
We'll live. We'll be okay.
Are you going to be fine? Are you sure? Well, anyway, Shep's playing the hurt puppy dog now. He's like, well, I guess we'll just have that friendship where we pick and choose what we tell each other. First of all, Shep, you guys aren't dating. And second of all, do you not know? Like, this is where Shep does frustrate me because I know he doesn't have self-awareness. I know he's book smart, not street smart. Do you know why he doesn't want to tell you? Like, do you know why it's
Mhm.
going this route? Like, maybe it would do a lot of favors if you took accountability again and said, like, hey, I get it. I get why you don't want
Could
to tell me,
help.
but like, I'm here. I want to be better. Anything other than pretty much putting the onus on Austen being a bad friend for not telling you what Austin's going through because you were a bad friend.
Well, I think that kind of goes hand in hand with the self-awareness thing because the way that Shep operates, even if he's at odds with somebody, he's still going to come into their room like we saw last year in the Bahamas and lay next to Austen and tell him what's going on with the freckled lips and read
Yep.
the whole text message. So no matter what the situation is, he's still going to tell somebody what he's going through. He's very open. He's so open that he just can't understand why Austin's not as open as he is. And he
That's a good
doesn't
point.
really understand why Austin's doing this. And we do, and Rod does. But Rodrigo knows what's going on, and he just can't handle it anymore. He can't be in the middle anymore. And Austen didn't mean to do this. It's not like he threw Rod into the middle by telling him what's going on and then said, do not tell Craig and Shep no matter what. But at the same time, Rodrigo's like, eventually he's going to find out. Just this is your best opportunity. It just happened. It's still fresh. Shep does want to help in his own weird Shep way. Just fucking do it now. Like, we're alone in this fishing shack. You don't have to worry about everybody else finding out. You don't have to do this whole big grandstand thing where you tell the whole group that you and Audrey are done. Just do it now. Otherwise, Shep's going to annoy the shit out of me. So just please do it right now. So I get where Rod's coming from.
I do too. And what better time than when you're ripping some lip? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Another fish
Shep,
joke?
that's not even a fish joke. That's just what we used to say
Well,
when we
because
go,
he couldn't
because
get the hook out of the fish's mouth. So he was
well,
kind
no,
of,
you don't rip no, ripping lip means when you catch them and it pulls their lip.
no, so
All
it
right.
was a fish joke.
But it's not really a fish joke. It's just like
Okay.
a saying. It's a fish saying. Fish vernacular, if you will.
And you're floundering a little bit right now.
Hey, hell yeah.
There we
Nicely
go.
done. Let's get back on track. Fuck. I really
On
thought
the
I could pull
line?
something out there. Ah, man. See, I knew I wouldn't be able to think of them once you pointed out I was making them. That's
Yeah.
a bummer. But thank you for finishing. I appreciate that.
Yeah, let's dock.
But now we're going a different
Mhm.
direction. I just
Mhm.
all I want to try. I'm trying to say one thing right now, and that's that Shep finally puts the pieces together and goes, "Are you single right now?" And Austin's like, "Yep, sure am." Shep is trying to feel dejected, but at the same time, the way that his brain works, and this is where Shep is such an enigma because on one hand, he does do stupid shit. On the other hand, he does have a very big heart and he really, really cares about his friends. Like his friends are really all he has in this world. So they're important to him. So while he's trying to both act dejected and be a friend, he's like, well, he literally struggles with what to say and goes, I, I think that's very big of you, Austen. That's good
His
enough.
like, I mean, his thinking. I do genuinely believe that Shep and in some ways Craig have viewed Austin's relationship as he wants out of this relationship. He just doesn't know how to do it. And he just doesn't know how to get through this. And Austin himself even said it. Like, this is the first time that I've broken up with a girl that I just genuinely love. It just wasn't going to work. So he's obviously down and dejected. So when Shep says things like, that's a big man move, like that's something that you had to do. Like, you knew that it was wrong, you knew it wasn't going to work out, and you still had to be the guy to do it. Like, I'm proud of you in so many ways. Like, I genuinely believe that Shep is being genuine here.
I do
I
too.
think this is what he has been thinking the whole time. And yeah, there is some evidence to support what he's going through, but like, just because there's evidence on what Austen was feeling and what he was doing doesn't mean that you're right. Because in
Right.
Austen's brain, he was trying to make it work and he was trying to make these things happen. And he's trying to figure out how him and Audrey can take the next step if they're going to take the next step. So when you're in it, you don't know how that's actually going to affect a person. When you're outside, you can kind of look at things and be like, oh, yeah, that's absolutely what was going on. I'm proud of him for doing that thing. Austin's not proud of himself for doing it right now. He feels like shit. So that's the thing that Shep is like so disconnected from is I know you made the right move and it's the same move that I would want you to make, but he doesn't understand how much feeling goes into it. He doesn't understand all the emotions associated with it and where Austen is right now. So yes, you can be proud of him for doing that because of what your own thinking is telling you, but it doesn't mean that it's going to sound good to Austen when you're saying these things.
No, and I think that that's one of the biggest takeaways on this entire situation, the Craig Austen Shep thing. I think you said it perfectly. Just because you guys recognize something in this relationship And even if Austen recognized, that doesn't mean that the relationship is over.
Yeah.
He has to work through it on his own time and figure it out for himself. Is this actually not going to work? Maybe he'll put in more effort and go to Charlotte and figure it out or give it a shot. That is what was bothering me so much with all of it, is the matter of fact tone in which Shep and Craig are speaking. It's like, guys, Craig, you more than anybody should know that there's nuances to a relationship. Just because it looks one way on the outside does not mean that's what's actually happening. And just because you know a guy really, really well does not mean you know what decision is right for him and that he has to make that decision. At the end of the day, these are grown-ups. They have to figure this shit out for themselves. So
you know what I just thought of, actually? This is the problem. We as guys in guy group friends have always gone through a situation where you say a little too much about a relationship that you think isn't going to work. And then you realize very quickly, fuck, now he hates me or now she hates me because I spoke my opinion. You learn very quickly and then you step back. And even if you see somebody going through that, if it's not getting to the point where it's like, holy shit, dude, you guys are going to kill each other, you do have that thinking like, I'm not going to get involved because I don't want you to get mad at me. But because they've never gone through that, because they're on a show together and they have to be together at all times, they don't realize, oh shit, like that's not how that works. Like, we all get that in the real world. We always make that step. We always overstep at some point and have an opinion about somebody else's relationship, and you get burned for it. And you realize, shit, if I want to continue to be friends with this person, I can't have an opinion on this. I need to let them work it out on their own. It's just something that you learn as you go through life. They've never had to do that because they physically cannot be away from each other. Austen, Craig, and Shep all do need to film together, and they do need to have some semblance of a friendship. And yes, if you're forced to be together, you're still going to have a friendship, but those feelings never really go away, especially if you're in that relationship. So they've never experienced that, so they don't know what the fuck's going on.
It's a good analysis. I agree 100%. Well, let's keep trucking to probably the main course, if you will, of this episode, and that's Salley and Venita. Now, this has been a strange back and forth that we've seen for a while. There's been moments where we thought maybe it was squashed, maybe it's not. Regardless, we're sitting in the pool house. Is that what they were?
Yeah.
And it's very, extremely, super duper important to note how this conversation started. Okay. Because Sally's eating a fruit or something that Venita said was good.
An apple.
Okay. She's eating an apple that Venita said was good. This is a shot you don't need to take, Venita, because she's like, I told you like it. You got to start listening to me again. Why, dude? Just like let it go, or like just don't talk to
you guys
her.
Are fine. Like
it was fine, but then she doubles down. She goes, "Oh, I'm so over this shit, Salley." It's like, what? You brought this up. You're the one starting this shit right now. Salley thought you guys were fine until this very moment. She thought that things were moving in the right direction.
Well, I mean, Salley and Molly did have that conversation about Molly getting her. What did we land on for the word of that? Vaginoplasty. Getting that done. That we did find out. Obviously, it does seem like
that's a separate issue.
Pitting them against. It is a separate issue, and I'm happy that just happens because it's on the tip of Sally's tongue when something like this goes down. So there's still some unresolved issues within their friendship, but at the surface level, everything's pretty much fine. Like the whole Craig and Salley thing should be behind both of them. It's not, but it should be behind both of them. I didn't expect it to still be a burning issue for Venita. Like, I figured that Venita, we've seen her in the past, and Venita is one of those people that we've been talking about for a while. Like, give us a little bit more of Venita. We have to be able to make a decision. If she's going to be on the show every year, show more of what's going on and get her more involved. Otherwise, what is she doing here? And earlier in the season, I'm like, she's batshit crazy. I love this. This is perfect for the show. She's still batshit crazy, and it's still good for the show. But she can't handle this. Like, she just simply cannot handle this at the right level that you need to be for a reality TV show.
Yeah, and that's the vibe I'm getting to. And my point with that they're good right now, they do need to address the Molly Salley thing.
Yeah.
And they have to talk about that. But I thought we were going to start from a place of, all right, we're neutral now, so let's have this conversation calmly with each other. And please explain to me what's going on, why you're talking shit about Molly and I, and then seemingly putting us together. That's what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting to go all the way back to the Craig thing. So we're starting from a place of animosity and then getting into that other stuff because,
Right.
like you said, it's on the tip of Sally's tongue. She wants to talk about this, but she also thought that things were starting to get better between you two. But then you take a weird jab in the beginning of this conversation, and now she's going to bring it up. And she's like, okay, well, you put me in a lot of situations, a lot of shit that I'm not actually involved in. What do you mean? Well, you tell me information, and then I'm your scapegoat. Venita's defense is, I told you not to bring that into this group. No, that doesn't
It was
matter.
filmed.
You told, yes, most importantly, it was on
So
camera.
stupid.
Second, you're the one that's spilling tea. What happens to the tea after the fact doesn't matter. We can go down the line 10 people. If it comes all the way back to you, you're
Mhm.
the problem. So that's what's happening here. And that's where the Molly and Sally debate comes back up. And Sally lays out the whole thing. Venita, you came to my house and you told me that Molly was talking shit. So, of course, when you start talking about Molly and talking shit about her vaginoplasty, I'm paying attention. I'm taking
Mhm.
notes because I think that she's coming after me and I need some ammo to go back after her. Makes total sense. I get where she's coming from. Of course, you're going to do that because you thought that Molly's coming after you. Great. No? Okay, cool. Because Venita says that's the difference between you and me right now in this moment. What? As
I don't
Whitner says, like, what does that have to do with anything? What do you
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and then she lashes out at poor Whitner, who's just getting involved, and I
Yeah,
like that
shut
he
the
immediately
fuck up.
says, "I'm not here for you, I'm not here for her, I'm here for her," and points at Molly. Because that is where this all comes from. We're talking about Molly. Like, yes, you guys can talk about who betrayed whose confidence, who brought this back into the group. Again, I still think it's fucking ridiculous because it was on camera, you moron. You don't just get to say, "Oh, don't bring it into the group." That's not how these shows work. Even if it was off camera, you bring it back into the group. That's how this works. That's what you've been doing for the last 6 years. So Venita has no handle on that. She thinks that she can just tell Sally what she can and can't do. Where Sally's coming from is completely rational. It makes a ton of sense. Like, you told me this, you were talking shit on Molly. When it got back to her, I'm the one who gets burned. And it doesn't make any sense. And I understand what you're trying to do. And I don't really think necessarily that what Venita was doing was, oh, I really need to get Sally further away from Molly. So let me just talk shit on Molly and try to be like just her only friend. I just think that we've seen this over the years. Benita's not really close to a whole lot of people. She's close to Madison, but that doesn't really count. She's getting closer to Sally. She's just spewing some nonsense. She's just talking and gossiping and doing bullshit to try to make her laugh and try to get her to talk some shit on other people. You're just doing that as a friend, which doesn't really bode well for you in a show like this. But when you get confronted about it, you can't handle it this way. This is not the way to handle it.
No, I agree. And I agree with you on all of those because I also think that that's what she was doing with Molly, too. I don't
Yep.
think she's trying to pit them against each other. I think she's trying to gossip a little bit and have some fun
Mhm.
and get closer to them. And it just
Yep.
so happens that the other one was cannon fodder. But I don't think that it's like malicious intent, so to speak. I think she
No,
got ahead of
no.
herself. But when shit hits the fan, like you said, now she's going to a confessional saying that I feel attacked. I feel betrayed. And then you say to Sally, if she really wanted to talk it out, or sorry, and then you say in the confessional, if she really wanted to talk this out, it would just be me and her here. Venita,
Mhm.
you started this. You're the one that took the shot at the apple for no reason. And
Yep.
that's what led to everything after the fact. And then he told Whitner to shut the fuck up. You escalated things again. This is all your own doing in this moment. Molly and Sally are both on the same page because they've had this conversation before you guys are sitting down here. Molly's not
Yep.
even talking. Molly's just sitting and seeing how this thing plays out to see where and when she can get involved if she needs to get involved. But it devolves so fast. And Venita gives like a word salad and apologizes to Molly, but
Mhm.
doesn't say shit to Sally. And then Sally feels emboldened because she's pissed off now. And she just tells her flat out, it felt like you're trying to pit Molly and I against each other, period. Which should be a talking point. We should
Should
have a
be.
defense. We should have some kind of response to this. But as Sally points out, we are seeing this frequently when Venita gets into conflict. When shit hits the fan, and if you need evidence, we can go back to the party at Patricia and Whitney's when they were all
Uh-huh.
going to the bar afterwards, and she bounced rather than confronting Craig.
Or
You can,
Mattis sleepover.
right, like you can kind of lay these out. So she doesn't really have a defense there, and it's like, yeah, unfortunately, like you've got the one half of the show down. Like you do say some shit here and there. You're getting along with a lot of people. You are good for this show. You're entertaining. The shit that you're getting involved in is wildly entertaining. But when you get into it, you bounce.
Yep.
You can't. You got to stand there and you got to take it. Like that's part
Yep.
of the show.
It's not even just part of the show. It's also just like part of if you want the friendship to continue.
Yeah, that
Like
too.
you have to have the conversation. You can't just walk away. And she feels like, what did she say in her confessional? I feel attacked. I feel set up. I feel like
Attacked and
this is all
betrayed.
malicious. Like enough. Like no, not at all. You can't do that, and you can't say that every single time that somebody goes after you, because what else would we be doing? You can't be talking behind people's backs, have it get back to them, and then get confronted and be like, I feel attacked. No.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
don't get that. You don't get to use that card.
Exactly. That's precisely what she's doing. And Sally, you know, when she says, I feel mind fucked by everyone in this group, it's like, you know what, dude? Yeah, you kind of
Yeah.
are getting fucked around. And sure, you know, you're not necessarily doing yourself a lot of favors, but not because you're like, I don't know. Like, yeah, she's being a little haphazard with, you know, the Craig stuff and then hitting on Austen, but like those are trivial. Those aren't really
Yeah.
that deep. It's not that important to anybody else. Like
No.
that's my biggest thing. Venita's still holding on. I think the root of it goes back to Craig. I think that's the baseline of this whole thing. And I think that's what's reigniting the flame, so to speak. But yeah, if I like Venita and I think Venita's good for this show, and I think that she's shown us a lot of good things this season. This is a very real hurdle, though, that she's going to have to be able to get over. She's going to find success on this show as somebody that's taking a bigger role. We've wanted this for years. We talked all the time about how she got shafted every season. We would find out things that happened with her way after the fact with a little clip, a little blurb, and that's horseshit. She's part of the show. You need to put her on the show. She's doing a lot of things great, but this is one major thing that we need to rectify. So that
It sure is.
for longevity's sake. But I don't care about the, you know, Whitney and Patricia Chauncey funeral. It's just another opportunity
No.
to remind you guys that Whitney is in the Epstein files. And
Austen had a nice speech though, so that's
yeah,
good.
Austen had a nice speech, and then we find out that Madison is going into labor. She's going to have the baby tomorrow from whenever this is. So exciting stuff. And she knew. She knew leaving Whitner's like this baby's coming. I gotta get the fuck out of here. Where's my super hot fireman?
Yeah, come on. Let's get to some questions here. First up here, we've got Lorraine promo. What would you advise Venita to do? Because she keeps walking away from conflict. She just has to stand there and take it. Like I don't really care how she handles it at that point, because we've now, like you just said, like this is a big hurdle that she has to jump over. If she did this one time and walked away, we'd be like, okay, whatever. It's not a big deal. She's done it like 4 times this season. So you do need to stand there and take it. Say whatever the fuck you want to say. That would be my first step. Afterwards, I don't know. We'll have to see how she actually handles it.
No, that's a great point, though. Like what you do in that moment really doesn't matter. Like you can go after Sally, you can apologize to Sally, you can take whatever stance you want, but you do have to take a stance. You can't just leave. From Nikki Mano 23, are you guys going to change the opening now that Casty's gone? Absolutely not. That's not even a Phillies call.
Yeah.
That was a Reds call.
No, that stays.
Always and forever.
From Haha Leo, where is this show going? I'm bored of these men. I think the show's in a great spot. We talked about that at the beginning of the episode. I disagree with you, respectfully.
Oh, this one seems passive aggressive. I love it. From Infreco, in which ways has Austen shown to be a good supportive friend to Craig these past years?
Well, I mean, the only thing that you can do is just say the sit down that they had in the Bahamas, where Craig said that he was struggling with addiction and Austen was there for helping him. I mean, that's a good start.
And then checked on him.
Yeah, he checked on him too. But if you want to go into like relationships and stuff, he really wasn't that good of a supportive friend with Craig and Paige, to be very honest. He did want Craig. He said, I miss my buddy. And Craig just was trying to hammer through. I've got a different life now. You have to understand that I've got a different life. And that's kind of where it was. And Austen had an issue with that. So yeah, if you want to do that, sure, that's fine. From Leah Hall 90, are y'all over the Venita and Salley storyline? Move on. This back and forth is getting stale. I thought we were over it.
We can't
I
move
didn't
on
realize
until
that we
Venita
still
addresses it.
were. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like that's what's holding this back is we haven't had that final conversation. And look, they might not be friends afterwards. They might be friends afterwards, but we have to actually do that part to put an end to this thing. And Venita keeps leaving, so it's making it very difficult.
From Amanda Rocky's mom, my secondhand embarrassment for Sally's comments about Austen is immeasurable. You need to start looking at it the way that we do because we find it very funny.
It's hysterical, and I hope it continues for the entire season.
A lot
Be
of
Reedy
statements in here.
13126. Yes, this is a statement. Like Austen said, down girl, poor Sally. She is so desperate for male attention. Not for nothing, but he said down dog, which was a little rough, actually.
But also very funny.
Yeah.
We'll end on this one for Joanne Beach. Rod is the new king of Charleston. Thank God Rod's on this show. God,
Facts.
he's great.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. And I love when we get a role player that knows their role and plays it well. Like that's the best thing you can ask for. So yeah, Rod is the king of Charleston. We agree. But yeah, this is what I was talking about in the beginning of the show. Like I look at this roadmap that we have laid out and I don't know where we're going next. And I love that. That's a sign of a fun season because there's a lot of question marks. And we know we're heading to Mexico soon. And with the way this thing is building, everybody, as Shooter pointed out, this is where you want to be before a trip. There's a lot of potential bombs that can go off, and we don't know who it's going to be. We don't know what's going to set it off. What I do know is this. Once one fuse gets ignited, the other ones follow suit, and everything comes to a head at the same time. And if we're doing that in fucking Mexico on a trip, oh my God, feed me, daddy.
That'd be great.
But that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope.
Well, that's our Brav Bros. We got to get at it here now. Bye.